Hey guys, welcome to Play or Nay Demo Edition. In this series I play demos from Steam to see if it will spark an interest in the full release. I'm SaltyOctopus and today we are going to be looking at Return to Nangrim. This is a little different than my normal content because, well, not all these demos are going to be boomer shooters, first off. And secondly, this is going to be live commentary on top of a pre-recorded video. So I'm going to react and talk about this game as it plays, instead of reading from a pre-recorded script, which is what I usually do in my videos. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into it. Just browsing the Steam page here while we load into the game. I think it's important for a game to have a good Steam page, as that's obviously the way that you're going to hook in people to play your game. I thought this game looked great from the Steam page, and that's why I decided to play it. This game is a first-person action-adventure with some RPG elements and some crafting. Apparently you'll get an animal companion, but spoiler alert, that's not in the demo. And it looks like they're also going to have VR at some point. Based on the setting, it looks like something out of Lord of the Rings or Skyrim, which is great, right up my alley. So let's check this out. Alright, looks like we have a cinematic, so I'm going to be quiet during this.
They came as a whisper, words so quietly wrapped that the truth may not hear, until that whisper became a growl, impossible to ignore, impossible to outvoice. We were not prepared. That which came upon us lied far beyond our imagination. Our plans, strategies, defense, in vain. The accomplishment of generations, the history of families, their joy, their sorrow, shattered in the blink of an eye. We stood strong, axes and hammers drawn, our army, the guardians with their best beards, every beard. But the great gates fell, and what followed after soon sealed our fate. In the depths of the mountains, a stone beard uses a mannerly stone's glow to separate night from day, darkness from light. Our glow has not yet gone out, and we will not make room for the darkness. In the midst of the chaos, I hid away our most precious treasure, and in this hour that I know my time has come, I will pass this world knowing that victory is ours, if not today, certainly in a tomorrow that will soon come. By the names of the fallen kings, may Tal'Doran give us his strength.
Alright, so the dwarves got attacked by something and they hid away their stone. Kind of made it sound like they all got wiped out. Good world building, I like the art style. Got a good Lord of the Rings vibe, which I appreciate. So far, so good.
What happened?
Alright, so we wake up here. Maybe we are a dwarf who survived the battle, looking around at this cold, bleak landscape.
It's cold. I should look out for a shelter. I must have brought some equipment.
Alright, so we got some inner monologuing going. I actually don't mind that for a storytelling device. And the voice acting first impression is actually kind of good. It sounds a lot like Idris Elba, who, well, I'll just put a picture up in case you guys don't know who I'm talking about.
I need something to store this in. Backpack. I'll need this for sure.
So I guess this guy's stuff got scattered around while he was knocked out or whatever. So obviously there is stuff to collect in this game. There is crafting and survival elements like the description said. Oh, okay, so this little quest document just popped up here and takes us into our inventory. I'm actually going to skip this part. The inventory is actually pretty straightforward and really clean, but I just don't find it very interesting for this video, so we're going to get a little skipped ahead here. Alright, so we're going to gather a few more items here, and there's obviously some funky collision here on this bush. Not a big deal one time, but if it persists throughout the game, it could be a problem.
I can't go over that bridge without repairing it first.
Alright, so we
way
need to repair
leads
the
over
bridge,
that
and
bridge.
look, the planks are just
It's so
magically
distant.
sitting right next to it.
Even
I'm
missing
hoping
some
that this
planks.
lazy game design is just simply for demo purposes, because, you know, that could have been a whole quest, go find
Now
the
the
planks
way
or
isn't
craft
shut
something for
anymore.
it. You know, that could have been a lot more interesting than him just sitting right there. So first impressions is this game's a little slow for my taste. I think we've seen enough of this area, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Alright, so we're going to craft an axe here.
Ha ha ha! The luck of a dwarf.
Yeah, the luck of a
Now,
dwarf is just
let's
sitting
bring
right
together
next to what we need to
belongs.
smash.
Those barricades block
A little
the
bit
way.
lazy. It's upside down, but whatever. It works.
Better than having no axe.
One thing I do like is you can equip it in either your left or your right hand here, which is kind of cool. So depending on what you use in real life, you can use it in this game. It also opens us up for dual wielding or having a shield and an axe. Alright, we're going to go into the next area here. I'll skip the load screen.
A citadel. I should take a look around. I'm not sure if I should have a bite.
Alright, so we're going to get attacked by some spiders, but I want to talk a little bit about him saying that he's hungry. We're grabbing these items and stuff, and I actually never ate once in this game, and it says that it's a survival game, but I don't think there's actually any consequence to not eating in this game quite yet. Getting attacked while we're reading, and here we go. We're fighting these little spiders, and they start glitching all over the place. This one is just kind of hovering there, and then it disappears. The other one comes in. We're whacking it. It kind of stalls out. Did we kill it? Oh, it attacks us. Oh, and then there's a desync, and then we attack it, and then it just magically vanishes. Boop. So, pretty odd. The combat is obviously very, very rudimentary here. There's another one that's just kind of glitched out. And spoiler alert, these spiders are really the only thing we fight in this entire demo. So, these developers, honestly, they've got a lot of work to do here on the combat system. I really like how the signs are in Dwarven runes, and then you mouse over them and they turn to English so you can read them. I think that's a really nice touch. So I'm going to grab a key here and then walk around this room exploring. There's really not a lot to show, so I'm going to skip ahead to the next area. Alright, so we enter the scriptorium.
Dusty books,
This room has a
rocking
Skyrim
chairs.
vibe. It really reminded me a lot about Skyrim. We punch open a barrel, there's some coins inside. You know, there's letters sitting on the shelves that we can read, books on the shelves, etc. There's already been a lot of world building and lore in this game, which is great. These developers are obviously pouring a ton of effort into this world, and by reading through it, we're getting quests, we're learning things about it. Hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about ourselves. We woke up with amnesia, and so far we don't really know anything. For me personally, this game's playing a little bit slower than my taste. You know, I really am an action guy. I'd love to see us open one of these rooms and have there be a skeleton or a giant spider to fight. You know, we just had the little guys, and that was glitchy, and they were not much of a challenge. It'd be great to see that in this game.
A key to the mine.
So we get a key to the mine here,
So, if I'm putting everything together correctly, this must be Bagon.
and our characters learn a little bit more about the world, about what happened to his people. Right now, this game feels like a visual novel. Feels like we are just here to walk around and read pages, and while that might be interesting for some people, it's really not doing much for me at the moment, to be totally honest. So yeah, the rest of this room is just exploring, grabbing books, reading more lore, so I'm going to actually skip ahead here to the next area.
Looks like a
Now we're in
storm
an outside
coming
area
from
right before we
south.
get to the mine. And I do have to say, one thing that this game really has going for it is the environment art is great. I really like this little outside area. It looks really nice. I like the details that they've added to the stream and the sound effects and just the atmosphere. The whole thing looks great. I walked up this plank because I thought there'd be a secret up here, and the collision just knocked me down every time I tried to jump up there. So obviously this wasn't meant to be a secret, even though it looks like one. And I hope the developers will add some secrets like this into the game, because so far it's just been linear exploration, and doing stuff to get off the beaten path is pretty fun. So hopefully stuff like that will get added into the game. But since it wasn't a secret, we're going to skip ahead when we go down to the mines now.
An abandoned mine tunnel.
Alright, so we walk
What
down
better
into the
place to
mine,
find
and
some
spoiler
ores?
alert, not much happens. It's just a great environment to look at. And because of that, this demo is quite honestly just a walking simulator, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Some people might like a relaxing walk in the park, looking at various stuff. We have some things we're collecting here like gems, and back in the other areas we collected shrooms, but none of it means anything yet. There's no systems in place for this kind of stuff, and that's not really showcasing much gameplay at all. And that to me is what a demo is supposed to be. It's supposed to be gameplay. We don't have combat. We don't have survival aspects. We don't have any crafting yet. It's just very, very bare bones. So now we grab a key to the next area, the forge, and we're going to learn a little bit more about this dwarf that died. And I guess he died to that giant spider that's also dead. A lot more reading and lore here, and again, the developer obviously cares a lot about this world, and that's great. But with your demo, you got to put your best foot forward. You got to have your systems in place. You got to have something that's going to hook the player into your world, combat, crafting. All of these systems are not really here. So for me, to be honest, at this point, I was getting pretty bored, and I was kind of ready to move on. But I decided I'd just keep going to the forge, and we'd see what would happen there. So we got the pickaxe here, and now we can go mine some ore. And the mechanic's exactly what we know. You go up to the ore, and you smash on it with your pickaxe, and you get it in your inventory. So hey, maybe we'll get to see some crafting after all. We've got ore, we're going to go to the forge. Maybe we can make a cool weapon or something. Alright, so we're here at the forge. Everything in this demo has kind of been steering us in this direction. And all the quests and stuff are kind of getting us ready for this game's crafting mechanic.
Let's heat the furnace.
Alright, so the first thing we do is we add some wood. And those little triangles at the top, the more wood we add, the hotter it gets.
Where does the smith hide his gold?
This spot's where we'll add all of our materials to craft the item. And this section is where we actually smelt down the ore materials. So I'm going to rant a little bit while I try to figure out the smelter here. This whole smelter forge area was the best thing about this demo, but it was also the worst thing about this demo. So at the start, the demo did a good job of kind of leading us up to this and kind of teaching us the rudimentary aspects of this, so we knew kind of what we needed to do. It also had some plans for a few of the various pieces of the puzzle and how we could craft certain items. And playing around with the different elements of heat, and if we screwed up, it would turn into a clump of waste, and then we could recast that to get our materials back. The whole system worked pretty well. It was obviously very well thought out and very well designed. And now that I've played this demo and I'm looking back on it, I can kind of see where the main development effort of this demo went. It was all here in the crafting system. So obviously the system works great, but I called it one of the worst aspects of this demo. So why? Well, you can see right here we had plans for an iron cup, and it's very simple. It tells you exactly what you need to do to make an iron cup. And after the iron cup, the next thing you have to make is an axe. And to make an axe, you need to smelt a bronze bar. So here's where the problem comes in. Nowhere in this demo does it tell you how to make a bronze bar at all. So you have to guess how to make the bar with all these different elements, with the different type of heat, with the different type of materials you combine. All of this stuff just to figure out how to make a bronze bar. Well, I couldn't figure out how to make a bronze bar, and I had to go online and search how to do it. And I just feel like when you're playing a demo to a game, you shouldn't have to go to the internet and figure out how to get something done. Because I'm stubborn, I spent over 2 hours before I resorted to the internet. So it's not like I didn't try. But the amount of frustration I endured trying to figure out how to craft a single bronze bar was beyond frustrating for me. And that alone, quite frankly, between that and the walking simulator, kind of ruined the demo for me. But hey, I got the bronze bar, and I'm going to finish this thing, so I'm going to throw it all in here and show you guys the final result, which is the axe. And technically that was the end of the demo. And now I'll summarize my thoughts on Return to Nangrim. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is a nay. I hate to do it, but you probably saw that coming. While the environments are really beautiful and the game has a great aesthetic, there just wasn't a lot holding this thing together. I appreciate the efforts they took to world build and to give us lore, but it was kind of meaningless because for me, nothing hooked me into this world. There was no action, there was no conflict, there was no combat. And because of that, I did not connect with the character I was playing, and I didn't connect with this world that I was supposedly trying to rediscover and possibly even fight for. And while this game looked like something out of Lord of the Rings or Skyrim, it was really nothing more than a shallow visual novel that we just walked around in. This game is being touted as an RPG action survival game. There were no RPG elements. character level ups or anything of that nature. None of the items we picked up did anything for us, and there was no reason to have to survive in this game, as you didn't starve, you weren't thirsty. There was really no action or adventure because there was no combat or any conflict. So yeah guys, I think you should pass on this game, and honestly for me, I probably won't even pay attention to the development cycle of it. So what did you think of Return to Nangrim? Has anyone tried this demo, and do you have a different opinion? If you think I'm wrong or being too harsh, please by all means comment down below and let me know. I'm always open to have a discussion about it. If you enjoyed this type of live reactionary commentary, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to make more videos like this in the future. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm SaltyOctopus, and I'll see you next time.